Hey internets, it's Jake from Mini Terrain Domain, and this is All That Glitters, a Waterdeep Dragon Heist campaign, episode 13, happening tonight. This campaign happens every Monday night at 8:30 p.m. Eastern, right here on twitch.tv/Mini Terrain Domain, and you can catch the VoDs over on youtube.com/Mini Terrain Domain. You'll notice that I am not sitting in the Dungeon Master's seat because I'm not the Dungeon Master, he is. And we'll let Mike take the reins once again in just a moment. Real quickly, I have thrown some things up on the side chat. You can type in !chat commands and be taken to a list of all of the wonderful chat commands you can enter. You can type in our individual names to get all of our social media links. You can type in our character names to learn a little bit about our... Wait, do I have character set up on this one? I don't think I have character set up yet. I don't know. Let's find out. Let's type in 6. I don't want to say that I do. Nope, I don't have character set up on this one yet. Coming soon, character descriptions in the side chat. But you can get our individual social media links and all that stuff. And you can also type in !domain dice to learn all the rules about how domain dice work. We have 3. Nope, I don't know why I said the number 3. There's not even 3 there. We have 11, is that right? I think that's right. Yeah, because the platinum sun is equal to 10, and there's an extra one sitting there. Those let us do all kinds of really cool things, like re-rolling, making the DM re-roll, etc., which is also on the scroll down at the bottom. So that's all I'm going to do for talking right now. I'm going to turn it over to Mike, so we can get started playing some D&D.
Oh, is that what I thought we were playing Fate Accelerated. Oh,
and
that's awkward.
Thank you everybody for tuning in. That's all we've got for tonight.
So welcome everyone. Thank you so much for joining us this evening for a little Monday night Dungeons and Dragons. Damn it. Can we redo that? Can we just redo that? No.
We'll do it live.
You'll you will see just down in the chat, for those who have, the characters for Waterdeep Dragon Heist are up, except for 6. So that's really awkward, Jake.
That's funny.
That's the one, the one that you didn't. So
I guess I better do something about that, since I'm the one that puts those up.
I mean, if you want to, that might not be a bad idea. I would definitely think so. I'll just quickly, before we hop in, unfortunately, we are a player short. Bevyn is unfortunately ill, but don't worry, he's it's not too bad. Just needs to sit down with some soup and I don't know, whatever people do when they're sick. I don't know. I hardly ever get sick, so it's kind of weird. But when I do, let me tell you, fetal position on the floor and I'm crying. But so such is life. So before we hop back into it, I'm going to ask one of these 3 awesome players if they would like to do a recap. I think V's like given the no.
I did it last week.
There you go. Fair ball.
And I did it the week before.
Fair ball.
We're all looking at you, Megan.
Da, da. Da, da.
If you don't want to do it, Megan, you don't have to. It's all good.
I'll do it next week.
Sounds like a plan. Which is great, because that means that as a GM, I'm going to get that point of inspiration with which to use to murder my players. So last week, the party has decided to kind of sweep up and start taking care of some small missions side to side. They first went to do a Harper's mission, where in the trade wards, they found that one of the, I guess, a friend to the Harpers had a problem with her shop, and there was a creature inside that was threatening her cat, and she was very upset, and which is kind of funny because in real life, at least 3 out of the 5 of us have cats and we love them, and so instantly this character we felt a connection to. So they had to rescue said cat, and they did. They found that burbling around the shop trying to get the cat's attention by mimicking the cat was a gazer, a little softball / basketball, because we don't really know the size of these things, sized creature, little beholder, who decided to run rampant and really mess up the place trying to eat that little poor cat. Spoilers, cat's okay. So it's all good. But they saved the cat. They saved the shop for the most part. And strangely enough, instead of stealing gold, they took some candy. And that was okay. So they went back to the shop. They found a pub that they went to. Was kind of weird. It had this weird little thing where every so often, at certain points of the day, some object that seemed to be behind glass would suddenly turn into something randomly, which was kind of strange. And people were placing bets on it. They decided to not place bets on it, which was good because the roll of that would be ridiculous. After that, they decided to go and deal with the Zentarum mission. that what's his face? The guy, the Davil with the strong song, decided to kind of help them, get them to do. They had to deliver a small box of unknown potions, which I'm not going to lie, in a player wise, really surprised they didn't just open the box, but that's cool. They went and had a look. They met up with Schemo Weirdbottle, who threatened to kill them, which means that now they're best friends. And after getting that, they went back to the Yawning Portal, and then, via the Yawning Portal, and then they went up to the Great Drunkard, which was a large, one of the many huge statues in Waterdeep that protect it in case of dire times. Then they waited, and they met a noble person who was in a carriage waiting for them. And upon delivering said box, the party was surprised to find out that it was a certain individual who, it was the object of Bevyn's affections, one Miss Esvel Rosnar, and she gave the money. It was very awkward. I chuckled. The other players chuckled, and and we just kind of went on a little awkward jaunt from that, and feeling a little bit kind of off their game. Bevyn suggested broodingly that they will go to a tavern, sit down, and have some lunch, because that's what the time of day was at that time. One thing that I will mention, that in last session and 2 sessions ago, I had neglected something that I was supposed to contact or tell the players. So I'm going to tell you, the audience. Mert, in his kindness, has given the players the opportunity to learn more about this terrible event that happened with the fireball. And if you don't know what we're talking about, well, then you're going to have to watch session 12. I'm just saying. And basically, the party has a chance to speak to the victims, and the Harpers are going to hire a cleric to go and speak with the dead, with the 3 victims, and they just had to ask some questions. They had to provide a list of questions. So I brought it out to them, and they supplied me with the questions, and that's actually kind of where we're going to pick up. As 6 as your fork clatters to the plate. Your stomach now full of delicious quipper and chips. A very well-dressed individual that many of you recognize as the doorman to the opera comes up to your table as the four of you have finished eating lunch. Thanks for the sound effect. And kind of leans over to you, Six, and kind of speaks very, very lowly into your ear. Pardon me, sir. You have forgotten this at the opera. And he hands you a small piece of paper.
I play it very cool, and I just give him a nod as I take the paper.
And he kind of gives a very kind of curt but courteous bow, and walks out. The other patrons don't really seem to notice much of anything. I mean, this is a place where paper origamis itself into a bird and flies around. I mean, someone just walking up to someone and handing them a note is really nothing. So,
And they're blue pieces of paper, right?
Some of them are.
For their tweets.
Permanent disadvantage you.
I thought we were tweeting when we were sending our bird messages.
I was sending foxes.
Oh, well, at any rate, as soon as he leaves, I immediately open the piece of paper, but I do so kind of under the edge of the table so that only I can see it.
Oh, wow, that's kind of jerky. Do you tell everyone else, or would you like me to write it all out for you in a secret note?
You don't have to write it out, but I'm just looking at it first before I tell everybody else what it says. It might just be a private message for me.
It is not. You see in script that is typical of Mert's handwriting. You see as per our earlier conversation, your 5 questions have been answered, and then you see. First you'll see you see is the question, and then you see the answers. So do you want to keep this to yourself?
No, I will of course share it with the others.
Smart kid. So it says question number 1, and you said, who do you work for? And underneath the answer it says, the Open Lord of Waterdeep. Question 2. Why were you running to the tavern? The answer. I was seeking allies of the Open Lord who saved his son from the Xanathar. Question 3. What were you trying to give? Trying to hide the stone of Golor until I return. Question 4, and this is to the 2 individuals who were chasing the gnome. Why were you chasing the gnome? The gnome was carrying some artifact. Erstil said they'd be as rich as kings if they got it. And question 5, that you also asked the 2 individuals, who ordered you to chase the gnome? The answer, Erstil Floxen from Gralhund Villa. And underneath the script, Mert says, thank you again for all that you are doing with the Harpers. Wait. Hang on a second. Thank you again for all that you are doing for the Harpers. It is great that individuals such as yourselves take it upon yourself to better Waterdeep through your actions. Once again, you have my thanks, and of course, a favor to be repaid at some moment. You only get one, so do use it wisely. And it says, and then it just signed Mert and postscript. Anyone who doesn't understand what that is, that's what PS stands for. So there you go. Now you know. See, you get entertained and you learn stuff. That's what this stream's all about. Yeah, I know, right? The more I know, I don't have a more you know. I'm not very good at stuff. But it says postscript. Whatever you decide to do, if you wish to mention this incident to the god, you may. Or if you wish to try and track down and get in yourself, it is up to you. However, if you decide to explore Growlhund Manor on your own, I would highly suggest that you try to get any information on the Growlhunds as you can. It may be worth your while. And that's it.
Well, that was rather efficient of them, wasn't it?
Keep in mind, like, since you've gone in and sat down and gotten lunch, it's been like probably about an hour. So it's probably around, at this point, it's probably around 1 o'clock.
Seeing the information on the note from Mert, particularly the thank you and also the answer to the last question. 6 is doing that thing that cats do where they just suddenly stop moving and they're staring. If I were more of a human, you might see my skin going pale. It's just a very... In fact, I think you might actually hear deep in my throat. Sort of growl.
What's wrong with you? Fish didn't agree.
You're growling, dear.
No. I'm sorry. I did not realize that I was growling.
Well, you mentally seem to have stepped out for a moment and the growling started. Is everything okay?
It is this name Growlhund. This is not the first time I have seen this name.
Where else have you come across it?
Do you remember the victim, one of the victims that we found in the Dark World? A sailor with tattoos. He had
Yes.
the black stuff on his fingers.
Yes.
The black blood. He had a ring on his finger.
Right.
I took this ring. I held on to this ring. And I had it appraised. And I learned that this ring is a signet ring of House Growlhund.
Oh, that rather muddies the waters, doesn't it?
That's just the surface. That is just the pebble dropped into the water.
There's more.
I'm not entirely certain how this all ties together. But it was quite some time ago. My mother, she was taken. And the man who took her wore this ring. And at that point, I've actually got the ring in my hand. Pulled it out of my pouch.
This definitely does go deeper than for you, doesn't it?
I don't know how these things are connected. How is it that there's so much time? Something from my own past is coming up in... is directly related to the things we've gotten ourselves involved in.
Well, as big as we like to think the world is, it's terribly small sometimes, that's for sure. How long ago was it, though?
It has been a few years. To be honest, one of the reasons I have taken up in the entertainment is it allows me to not have to think of, for so long it allowed me to not have to think of these things. And I thought that I had been doing a pretty good job of burying my past deep down inside. But not so good as I thought. Mike, I don't remember what the time frame was on that.
Oh, like how long ago you were?
Yeah.
I believe it should have been 15 years ago.
Yes. Okay. I just found it.
Okay.
Yeah. This was 15 years ago. When that much time passes, you'll pretty much give up on any... Well, I had given up on any hope that anything would come of it. But now, in just the last few weeks, I find this ring, and then, once again, this name, these peoples, this ring, it's all tied together with us. Maybe could it be my fault that gnome gentleman is dead? Those other people in the Troll Skull Alley are dead. Could this be because of me?
I think there's far too much left unknown before we start blaming anyone, quite frankly, and I'd honestly be surprised if a ring off a sailor would actually be why they all died. There's got to be far more to it than we know. But the question now begs to be asked: do you want to let the gods know about this information we've gotten from Mert, or do we suss it out ourselves?
If this has anything to do with the disappearance of my mother, I'm not entirely certain that I want to involve... I'm not sure that I want to involve the law.
Plus, can you imagine all the questions we'd get from coming across this information?
It wouldn't exactly be easy to explain.
And don't take this the wrong way, Anna. But since meeting you, we've not exactly been pillars of society. And I'm not placing the blame entirely on you. But ever since meeting you, I have been much more likely to flaunt the rules of the code legal. I mean...
Well, thanks. I'm more than happy to turn anyone to see the truth, really.
What I'm saying is, with Anna and with Bevyn's skills, and well, quite frankly, they are wearing off on us a bit. I would like to pursue this on our own without involving the guards. This is quite literally a personal matter for me.
I completely understand. And quite frankly, I'd wonder if the guards would actually do any full justice to something they consider 15 years ago unimportant. No child should be separated from its mother without knowing what happened.
So, now comes the question of when and how we are going to look into this place.
Well,
I imagine as I say that, I immediately am looking at Anna. And is Bevyn still with us? Or has Bevyn taken ill?
Well, interestingly enough, as you were having this conversation, you realize now that it's like, okay, well, we need some for infiltration, and we got Anna and we got Bevyn, and as soon as you go to look at Bevyn, the chair's empty. Even you, Anna, are surprised that Bevyn was just able to kind of just sneak away, and the chair just kind of sitting there empty now. Not even a word, just disappeared.
He's probably off sulking somewhere.
True. Lick his wounds a little bit. Poor dear.
I hope his ears are burning wherever he is, hearing us talk about him.
That's mean. That's really freaking mean. You're a jerk.
Let him out, dude.
Like, oh man, too soon.
He still loves
Stage
you,
whisper. Stage whisper. Dwight has an earache.
Yeah.
I couldn't resist it.
God.
You just see this kind of rueful smile on Anna's face. Well, you can find out a lot of things in the dark. Go to a lot of places you're not supposed to. I say we just go in. We take the afternoon, we scout the place out, and then in the evening, we make our move.
So, I'm searching my memory. So I do know that the Growlhund is a noble house.
Yes, and we were in negotiation with some nobles from the noble houses.
And I know that it is a villa. Would we know by reputation or anything what ward this is in, or do we not know that?
Kiara,
Yeah, and what I'll say is make me a history check.
Excellent. I can roll my new dice. I cannot recall anything about the Growlhounds other than what I've learned.
Did you want me to roll too? Because,
Yeah. Oh, yeah, no.
That was a 17, so.
Oh. With my -1 modifier, I got a 1 on that check.
Oh. Hey, but at least it wasn't a nat 1, because then I would have said some random thing in your pack just goes missing. No, I'm not that. No, I'm not that.
Wait, what?
Kills the pin.
Surprise! No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. Now, Kiara, so with that rule, you would know, and at least you've remembered from being at many noble social gatherings, that the Growlhounds are kind of a tragic case in many noble houses, where their ambition has caused them to kind of overreach and overextend their finances in many different places to try and kind of find their niche. But unfortunately, with failed business attempts and other problems, even excuse me, even so much from borrowing money from the Castellanters, the Growlhounds eventually fell to mercenary work and to hiring like thugs, putting them in the cheapest armor and just sending them off to make money so they can take a cut. And then, of course, this ended up getting more and more desperate, and so they started taking on worse and worse jobs that even robbers, even just your typical lowlifes, wouldn't take. And then word got out that the Growlhounds had also begun to kind of skirt the idea of kind of an alliance with those who would help give them power. And in this kind of alliance, again, it's all hearsay, but you remember hearing things about a lot of tieflings being born under their noble house, and people starting to question whether or not they've made kind of an abyssal alliance, because many of these creatures were more demonic than devilish. Like some of these tieflings that were born had like incredibly long, spindly talons. They were very, very powerful, but they worked a lot on their own. Some of them were even extremely feral. Some of these creatures. So after that, they begun to. There was a serious investigation, and eventually, for the most part, they were ousted. But there's a couple of individuals who still reside there, but you don't know who they are. And that's what you know.
So they're not exactly the most desirable noble family to be associated with. That is an understatement. And desperation runs deep in their veins at this point. But if this is something you want to look into and you want to find out more information, I completely understand, Six.
To be honest, I don't know if I have a choice. This is a thing that I have to do. And I will understand if I need to do this on my own. I do not need to drag you into my own personal affairs. But I have to see this through.
Something tells me you're not going to be left alone entirely.
But if these Growlhounds are If they are as desperate as you say they are, then I think we have a double-edged sword before us. Because, one, they may not be able to have much in the way of high-end security, or lots of people watching out for their interests. However, if they are as desperate as you say they are, they can perhaps be dangerous.
That's
Well,
an absolute given.
We'll just have to not get caught. Never have to find that out. That's my motto.
I like your confidence. Now,
I'm
look,
just excited.
I can understand that as well. We did say we were going to do the memorial service this evening. So this evening's rather spoken for. Perhaps do we want to find out more about that automaton creature?
What if... I would like to pose this. What if we continue with our plan, as I have set everything in motion for the memorial service? And we have everybody who is coming to Nobody's In tonight. And we say our few words, and we get... As these things tend to go, people are coming, people are going, and you get lots of people that are getting caught up in the drinking and the reminiscing, and we excuse ourselves during the wake. This is we have been seen there. It is our establishment. Then we sort of have Anna. I think this is called what you call an alibi. It's just an idea.
A right proper one. You're making a great thief.
I'm not used to thinking so diabolically. Perhaps you are influencing me more than I realize.
The other advantage is that we do have people who are drinking and reminiscing. Maybe one of us should stay behind and see if we can find out more information from those who start talking more.
This is also a good idea.
I mean, I may not be able to go along with you, but I might be able to do a little something to assist you for a little bit at least. Especially if you need someone to move a little bit more stealthily than normal.
Well, while we already have established that I am faster than Anna, I think she can be a bit quieter than me, but we are both very quiet. And I am... Well, I think I have a bit of a advantage when it comes to cat burglar behavior.
Oh, I will believe that when I see that. Mister, I fell into a box the time we were at that warehouse. Don't think I forgot about that.
I have omitted that part from the stories. It did not happen.
I just said that I could help out. I didn't say that it was a reflection upon the already established quality of this stealthy behavior. I was just saying I could enhance it.
Right. You know words. You're good with talking with people without making them wanting to punch you. I don't have that.
Pretty much raised to do that, so yes.
Sorry.
That's the best damn answer ever. God damn it, Megan, you win. You win.
That got me.
Inspiration for days and days.
You know words. You know how to talk with them.
You speaky pretty.
I love it.
That was perfect.
Love it.
So we have a plan. What time?
I think we do.
What time is it?
It's a little after, say, 1:30.
Yeah, I'd say it's at this point. It's around 1:30. Most of the folks have started to like kind of, the lunch rush has kind of started to leave. And of course, only the few dedicated drinkers are left in the Singing Sword.
So we have some time before the week.
I really would like to get more knowledge about this flying creature because, quite frankly, if they can fly in and out, that's leaving me a little unsettled. The automaton?
Yeah, I may have. I think I probably misconstrued. Well, I probably maybe I don't know if I miscommunicated, but I hadn't mentioned anything about them flying in.
No, Vala did.
Fala had mentioned that she saw, or actually, Jezrin Hornraven had mentioned she saw a puppet-like creature on the roof of one of the buildings. Launched one in, and then
I thought they were flying. Okay.
Yeah, I am so sorry.
Well, I think that was around the same time that you had described, like right on the heels of describing the Griffin Patrol.
That's what it was.
That's probably what happened.
That's where.
Sorry,
I could see that confusion too.
Okay, so the automaton creature.
I mean, it's weird enough that we've got a puppet on the rooftops. We don't need to give it wings too.
Stranger things have been known to occur.
You're telling me.
This is Waterdeep. I mean,
yeah. So do we want to go and maybe question or find out more about these constructions?
Where do we even go to look for this?
I believe the Temple of Gaunt. That's usually their deal. And they have that lovely parade every year where they just parade them down. Well, it's a parade, so obviously they parade them down the road and clinking, clacking, doing cool things, moving, and if anyone would know, it'd be them.
I know of a man once named Geppetto that made a puppet, but there was an incident with a whale in the ocean. I don't know what happened.
Yes, it was a rather sad story, but
I'm sorry. I love dropping those things and looking at Mike's face.
That's all right. That's all right. What's that? What do I hear an entire legal team coming? What?
Meh.
It's homage.
So, as you guys all get up to leave, for the cost of the meal and drinks, it's going to end up being 5 silver, so a half dragon.
I will take care of the food.
How generous. And you begin to make your way. As you walk through the market, up Trader's Way, you pass the Field of Triumph, this massive open-air stadium, and you, especially Kiara, and actually even you, Anna, would remember times that people have gone in to watch tourneys and other sporting events. Even at one point, the Waterdavian Guard had put on a large kind of military kind of event, not terribly dissimilar from the Olympics, where they have a javelin throw and they had like climbing walls and scaling and mock battles and things like that. As you continue walking, you see on your left the House of Heroes, which is the Temple of Tempest, and it's the largest temple of in the entire city. For those who don't know, as I very quickly scroll down, you know that Tempest is the god of war. He is known as the Lord of Battles. Now, his thing is not just killing, but just honorable battle. So think of him as And of course, now I draw a blank with all the other deities. You know what? It's fine, but you get the idea. And you see, of course, what looks to be like a large kind of a temple that almost looks like, think of the Parthenon, but the columns are all like are swords and axes, and you see like shields embossed upon them. You can hear even the clash and the ringing of metal coming from the open doors of the temple as you continue on. You end up walking up the Lions, a street. And now that you're in the Sea Ward, you can, looking out to your left, you see the West Gate, this kind of beautiful kind of open area where people are walking, mostly fishermen are walking in and out with daily catches on their way. You also pass by about at least 5 or 6 different taverns, 2 or 3 of which 6 you've probably been in. Place like Gunnar's and the Pilgrim's Rest and the Wandering Wemmick. Great place. Really lousy service though. You can as you continue on, you eventually end up Sea-Watch Street, and now if memory serves me correctly, Anna has the passive perception of a demigod. So I'm not even going to make you roll for it, Anna. So what you see above, you just catch a glint for a moment, and at first you think it's part of the facade of the Temple of Inspired Hands. You actually, the temple itself seems like something that it shouldn't be standing the way it looks. You see towers that are kind of made of shifting gears, and every so often, each of those gears will line up with each other, these different minaret towers, and then twist again, and then turn. It's almost as if this thing is a living, breathing, divinely inspired machine. You see tons of people going in and out. You see actually a couple of these mechanical nimblewrights kind of opening doors for people, letting them in and out of the temple. But the glint on top, you do see with your eagle eye a nimblewright. The nimblewright kind of looks at the 3 of you, and you can see its head kind of jerking from side to side, and it kind of moves in close to you, and you see something in its hand. You can't really tell what it is, but you can see something in its hand, and it throws it at the 3 of you. And that's where we're going to take a break. We didn't have a cliffhanger last time, so it's just, you got to pop that in there. You just got to,
All right, fair enough. All right.
Plus, I'm having the same thing that you had yesterday for that session. So it's like, yeah, let's do that. Let's do that bio thing that you were mentioning. That's so cool.
Yeah, we'll go ahead and take a real quick break. Thank you to everybody that is hanging out in the chat with us. We will be back in just a few moments. Hang tight as I figure out where my break screen is.
Woohoo! God.
Hold on. Mute. And we're back.
Alrighty. Now, if memory serves me correctly, I was about to roll like 15d8 for damage, I think it was.
Mm-hmm.
No, actually,
No,
what
I thought he threw
was,
an apple to us.
They threw, yeah.
that's what. Yeah, it was an apple. It was an apple of everyone gains 5 levels. No, actually, it is time for roll an initiative.
Wow, this is weird. I actually started to write down names to track initiative.
I got you covered.
And I'm okay with that. All right, let's see. I'm going to use this. The blue and gold 6 die. That is a 15 for 6.
19.
15 for 6. It sounds like I'm counting cards in cribbage. 15 2, 15 4, 15 for 6.
I love playing crib.
I do too.
Yeah. All right. So, as this strange object goes kind of sailing toward, you see it moves fast. It's 60 feet away, but from where it is, it's moving very, very quickly. Kiara, you are up first.
Sing it come. We don't have time to move, right? It's that fast.
It's pretty fast.
It's pretty fast. I'll throw Sacred Flame back at it, I guess. So
all right.
60 feet. Let me just make sure. Hold on. I am making sure that the Sacred Flame is a reachable distance. Just, yes. So I'll do Sacred Flame towards it. And that, I need to roll again. Oh, no, it has to make a dexterity saving throw or take 1d8 radiant damage.
Okay.
So you got to roll and see if this is going to be a thing.
So it rolled a, let's double check on this one.
Against a 14.
Yeah, it rolled a nat 16.
Oh.
So as it comes like screaming down, as you throw your Sacred Flame at it, it just kind of like does a bank, and you can see now that it's now 30 feet away. It's covered the distance in like less than a turn, and now it is 6's turn.
How big is this thing? Whatever it is.
I'd probably say it's around. I mean, it's tough because it's a fast-moving, wiry little thing, but it's probably about the size. I don't know, bird-sized, maybe the size of a rather beefy sparrow.
Okay, so I'm going to do a thing.
All right, a thing will be done.
I am going to. I'm just checking. So first, I'm going to use my feline agility. Well, actually, so it's only 30 feet away, right?
Yep.
Oh, never mind. I don't need to use my feline agility. Because I can get to it. So I'm just going to move toward it. And I am going to withdraw my rapier and my scimitar. And I am a 2-weapon fighter, so I am going to. I'm just checking to see. I'm using a feature called Blade Flourish, and I need to see if it. Double check to see if it uses bonus action. I don't think it does. Whenever you take the attack action on your turn, your walking speed increases. If a weapon attack that you make as part of this action hits, you can use the following option. Okay, no bonus action. Excellent. So first I'm going to see if I hit this thing.
Now, keep in mind, you're trying to hit it with a melee weapon.
Yep.
And it's 30 feet away from you in the air.
How high in the air?
It's probably at least like a good... Remember, it's coming off the roof of a temple. So it's probably at least, a good So it's 30 feet away and then probably at least 20 feet up.
Excellent. So I am going to use my feline agility then, which allows me to move 2 times my speed in combat. Half of that is going to be climbing up the nearest wall to leap off of it at this thing.
I accept.
Because I have a climbing speed of 20 because I'm a Tabaxi. And I can only do this double speed until I spend... I can't do it again unless I spend a turn not moving. So running, climbing, leaping at it with my swords, and attacking for a... it's going to be a 12 total with the scimitar.
It moves like around. It moves around you, and as it kind of matrixes its way past you, kind of in that slow motion, you see now that it's actually a small mechanical bird.
I have a second attack.
Oh, you do? Oh, okay.
Well, I have a bonus action attack because I'm a 2-weapon fighter.
Oh, right. My bad. My bad.
Nope, that's fine. As it's swirling out of the way, and I'm sort of at this point, I kind of swing at it and it does this dodge, and I'm kind of twisting in the air, and I'm going to come across with my rapier at it. That is a crit. That is a nat 20. These are on my brand new dice, too.
Very nice.
Does that hit?
Describe to me how this thing meets its end.
So yeah, like I said, as I'm twisting through the air and I miss, and then I basically just like come up from underneath as it dodges out of the way and skewer it with the rapier. Though I imagine, and you tell me if it's otherwise, if it's a mechanical thing, maybe it doesn't skewer it, but it actually disintegrates it or breaks it apart. But I'm also realizing at this very moment that I'm also 20 feet in the air.
That is true. That is true. You are going to have to land.
Yes.
Yeah. And give me 1 sec on that one, because as you kind of run your rapier into one of its wings, and you notice now that the wing is made out of kind of like a cloth, but like a seemingly like a waxed cloth. You tear at it, and then it just starts like spiraling out of control. And Anna, as you're standing there kind of shock frozen, this thing kind of like skitters, like lands about 15 feet away from you, breaks apart, and then skitters. And then the head of this thing just kind of rolls up until it just kind of looks at you. So its head's just kind of facing you. It's made out of like looks to be like a very thin copper, like thin, like beaten copper, into what like looks to be an anatomically, or at least a correct, like actually very like lifelike looking bird, except made out of metal. Now, sorry, go ahead.
Anna's going to pick up the head.
All right.
Look at it and just for safekeeping.
Sure. It's a small but life-size metal bird's head made out of copper. You see a few, what looks to be like a few, like very, very tiny precision pistons kind of like running out of it. And you can see where it looks like it connects, like it clicks into, or at least it used to, but now the body is just kind of destroyed. And it just kind of, that's what it looks like. Looks like the eyes kind of move. Looks like the head was made to move. See a few little gears. Makes a grisly but oddly cool trophy? Question mark. So as far as you, Six, what I'm going to say is I'm going to have you make a dexterity save as you kind of realize now in the very Wile E. Coyote fashion that, your body starts to drop and your, neck elongates and you plummet 20 feet.
Actually,
Well, actually,
hold on, I got to do this correctly. Well, actually, this is actually a very common part of my performances in large outdoor places, and you may remember that I once performed outside of the yawning portal and did a similar maneuver, running up the side of the porch of the yawning portal, and I landed light as a feather, as I used my reaction to cast Featherfall upon myself.
and the D6 goes down. Nice.
I've built most of my spells around my performances as a sword dancer.
That is brilliant and very lucky. So as you kind of land with a graceful flourish, some people walking around kind of look at you weird, except there's this one like little old lady who is just kind of, she looks for a moment because she's squinting really hard, and then
I 100% am bowing with my swords held wide.
And she kind of moves over to you, and you see her pull out a purse, and she kind of gives you a copper piece. Oh, that was lovely. And then she just kind of turns around and kind of slowly walks away.
I gladly pocket her copper piece.
You're a monster. So
it is not a monstrosity to accept the kindness of people who appreciate the art.
Anna, as soon as you put the head kind of in your bag, looking up, you see the yeah. You know, it's not as bad, you know, in context.
That's a very grisly description.
So wrong. It's hysterical.
Hey, play in an Iskloft game, okay? That's all I got to say about that. You want grisly, you play in an Iskloft game. Anyway, as you put the mechanical bird appendage there in your bag, you instinctively look up, and you see this Nimblewright, this automaton creature, kind of glance down and kind of like strain its neck to look, and it kind of twists its head in that way that, you know, like dogs do when they're trying to listen to something. And it's so cute when they do it, but not this thing. And it kind of like cocks its head, and then kind of like backs up. And you see it must have been crouching before, because it kind of raises up to its full height. And you can see now that, I mean, you're not huge on trigonometry, I'm assuming, but you can guess this thing is fairly tall. Like it's definitely taller than Bevyn or Six, or even like very tall people that you've seen. And it kind of ducks back in very quickly into some portal in the roof. And that's it.
We need to go after this thing.
Odd, don't you think?
Yes. I definitely want to go inside now.
You go ahead and wonder about how crazy it was. I'm climbing back up the building.
You're climbing up the side of the temple?
Oh, wait, it was in the temple?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, so maybe not that.
Oh, I was really hoping.
Yeah,
you know, honestly,
boy, do I have plans for that.
You know, I got to be honest and to be in character. Yes, I would. This thing just threw something at us and tried to attack us and disappeared. I'm going Assassin's Creed, and I'm going to climb up the building for it.
All right.
As I run at the walls, sheathing my swords. I do have a climb speed.
No worries. The building itself, from what you can see, is probably around 150 feet high.
Okay.
Still not the largest temple, so that just goes to show you right there. As you begin to climb it, however, you hear someone shouting at you, and you can kind of make it out, because if memory serves me correctly, you have a climbing speed of 40 feet.
20.
Okay. I don't know why I thought it was 40. You know what? It's fine. So as you start making it up, and you make it up about 2 stories, and you hear shouting, and looking down quickly, you can see 2 members of the watch that are yelling at you and pointing at you and then pointing to the ground.
Let me check something real quick. World is with no ideas. Action, I want to be famous. I have trouble keeping my true feelings hidden.
In the meantime, what would the rest of you 2 be doing?
Probably just looking at each other and walking to the door.
Yep, we're going in. We don't know him.
At this rate, we're both used to him being what he tends to do.
Fair. That's fair. And as you walk to the door, you can hear the watch members, "You get down now in the name of the watch."
2 coppers, he talks himself out of it.
I'll see that, and I'll raise it to a silver that he gets thrown in jail for the night.
Deal.
All right.
Wow.
Very
have all the confidence in you.
Very reluctantly.
Very
reluctantly, 6 stops and sort of hangs on and is looking down at them and looking back up, looking down at the guards. And I will reluctantly descend, just barely making my wisdom check to see if that's what I would do.
Nice. That was probably a good thing.
You know, if you, as I'm landing on the ground at their feet or near them, you know, if you had been here just a few moments before, I would not be climbing up the side of a temple, trying to get after whatever it was that attacked me.
What? Did like a bird shit on you or something and you wanted to get some revenge?
Are there any pieces of the bird lying around?
If there are, they're scattered like at least a good 40 to 50 feet away from you, and it's probably covered up by all the people kind of wandering through and some kind of stopping to gawk at the stupid thing of a tabaxi climbing the side of a temple.
I don't know if that was some kind of a joke because I am a tabaxi. But yes, it was a bird, and it did not shit on me. It was a mechanical bird thrown at me by a puppet up on the rooftop. Yes, I heard what I just said.
And the watch person, the other one, a woman, a half-elven woman, looks at you, and she looks at her partner. Right. And she pulls out her, this kind of little pad. Disorderly conduct within a temple, fine up to 5 gold pieces and an edict. Here you are. And she hands you the fine. This can be payable at any court. If it is not paid within a 10-day, you will be arrested. And as such, you are also banned from visiting or banned from leaving the confines of Waterdeep until your fine has been paid. Don't do that again, you idiot. And then they both turn around and walk away.
All right. So basically, I just got a ticket for 5 gold.
Essentially, yes.
Well, I guess we have to wait and see if he actually pays the fine then.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna be just tracking that like there's no tomorrow.
Hold on a second. You know what? So the 2 guards left. They disappeared.
Well, I mean, they didn't magically just,
No, but I mean, they
into-
walked away.
Yeah, they started to walk away.
Okay. Once they're out of sight, I'm going to tear up the ticket. That's half me being in character and half me taunting Mike. I'm going to be honest here. I really think it. I really think ticks. 6. Yes. Once they're out of sight, I'm going to tear up the ticket.
Okay. As you tear up the ticket, you see that.
Oh no!
Like you rip it, and it looks like it's weird. It's like a bit of like kind of dust, just kind of. And you see now the like this kind of the dust kind of goes up and then just kind of like almost gets pulled by a wind.
Well, however this thing resolves itself, there's certainly going to be a story in it.
You got a second character ready, right?
No.
That's unfortunate. I mean, the penalty for ripping up a ticket is death by dismemberment, but that's fine. That's fine.
Wow.
Yeah, I know,
these
right?
laws are at both extremes. There's no middle ground here.
Pretty much. It's like 5 gold, or being drawn in court. It's just like
I legitimately, partly as a player in my mind, I'm like, this is Waterdeep. They don't have like carbon copies. Like, how are they going to know that they just wrote me a ticket?
Because it's
And honestly, 6 is thinking that too. Like,
because you have a dungeon master who's petty like that.
It's all right. I know what I did, and I'm okay with it.
Fair. I mean, I imagine there are many people who just want to rip up their tickets. So you head in to the temple, and or at least you make your way. Now, for the other 2 of you, were you standing there watching the entire exchange, or did you just said nope, he's on his own?
I think it was sort of like, had the hand raised to knock and heard 6 talking, just kind of turned around to see what would happen.
Okay, so you would have seen him talk, leave. You'd seen him rip up the ticket, and you'd see this like kind of glittery dust kind of go up and then kind of shoot over.
Well, are we all ready now?
Fine, we'll do it your way.
I knock on the door.
As you are about to knock on the door, you see 2 automatons standing at the door, and one of them kind of like in a very kind of jerky, kind of very puppety kind of motion, kind of like grabs the door and opens up effortlessly. Like these 2 bronze doors seem extremely heavy. So they would seem like too heavy for a human to be able to just open easily, not like unlike the temple to Lathander. And the door just kind of like it just kind of pulls it like just like a couple of like pistons, just pulls the door open, and they both kind of like bow, like kind of this half bow as you 2 walk, or as all
I'll
3
do
of you walk in.
like an awkward, like kind of bow back, not quite sure what to do with these things.
Thank you.
And as you walk in, you see tons of like just a massive activity within the temple itself. There are acolytes moving around all over the place, cleaning and kind of looking up like scrolls. Like a lot of them are reading scrolls, and they seem to be studying things. As you walk by a couple of them, you can see that these aren't like scrolls of scripture or any holy like holy words per se, but they're schematics. They seem to be schematics for strange things that you kind of don't really understand. It just seems really, they just seem like really odd contraptions that, you know, there are plans for and things like that. And as you kind of walk into the main, the main hall, it's much different than any temple or even shrine that you've ever seen. There are no pews, there are no places for worshipers to necessarily sit. But what you do see, in this main hall, and over top you see emblazoned on this kind of golden plaque, says the Hall of Exemplary Inventions. And you see 24 marble pedestals going down this kind of long hall. And each one seems to have some sort of an odd contraption on it. You see one of them is a 4-foot tall model of a clock tower. And it seems to me, it's made out of wood and iron and bronze and glass. And it just seems really like just this, something you've never seen before. Most people tell time by the sun, or they ask the dungeon master. Either way, but again, you see, you know, this strange thing, and it just, you can see it just seems to be moving. These two hands just seem to be slowly moving in some direction for some strange reason. You see, hanging from the top, this large wooden flying machine that seems to be suspended from cables. It has like this kind of rudimentary looking system. It looks like it has bat wings, almost, this skeletal frame with this stretched fabric. Look, I'm not kidding you. It's in the book, okay? So you know. You also see here's definitely a very strange one. You see a miniature model of a mechanical dragon turtle. It has a brass plate affixed to the pedestal, and it reads, "Big Belchy sank in Deepwater Harbor on the Day of Wonders in 1363 DR." You see a functional waking helmet equipped with a small articulated metal arms and hands that gently slap the wearer if they're asleep. Probably not their best invention, but they're working on it. And you also see a miniature model of a strange looking vehicle, and it looks like a manta ray, and it has another brass plaque under it as well, and it reads, "The Scarlet Marpenoth, Lantanese submersible, launched in 1489 DR." As you're admiring all of these really fascinating objects, with the exception of the waking helmet, which is just silly, this bronze dragonborn walks over to you. She kind of stands to her full height, looking somewhat regal, but also a little authoritative. And you can make her out to seems to be like definitely someone of importance within the temple and within the followers of Gond. She looks at you, to you, Kiara, first, mostly because within clerics and paladins of different faiths, there's always that small pull from each of them. You know, from each of you, it seems like a small divine pull, and it's like they can just feel it within each other. She bows lightly. "Good afternoon. Welcome to the Temple of Gond. I am Valletta, priestess here. How may I help you?"
Hello, Valletta. Well, it's actually rather two things, so perhaps they might be related. First of all, before we came in, there was this little mechanical creature throwing a bird at us. Is that something that normally happens?
And she kind of rolls her eyes for a moment. "That is Nim."
Nim?
"Yes.
Does Nim make a habit of jumping around rooftops by any chance?
No, come with me, please. I've been training it to try to be more, to blend in more into society. But please follow me. We will have a talk with Nim. And she kind of beckons you to follow her. And she begins to ascend what looks to be a kind of an out of the way, kind of hidden spiral staircase that goes up. As you kind of ascend up, you see this kind of very thick oaken door. Valletta pulls out a key and kind of puts it in the lock, but for some reason the key doesn't work. So she tries again, like maybe it's just stuck, in that way where it's like, you've got the right key and you've got a keychain full of them. So you're trying to stick it in. You're like, no, maybe if I just try and put it in a bit more forcefully. Nope. And the key just won't open the door. Inspecting the lock, she realizes now that Nim has changed the lock. Nim! And she kind of like pounds on the door. Nim, open this door.
Perhaps somebody could climb up the outside of the temple to get to in.
Because that worked so well for you before.
And you know what? As you say that, she turns around and almost as if you're making a joke, and she's like, "No, that would be blasphemous. And anyone that would do that, we would press the severest of charges."
Oh, understandably so, of course.
Yes, certainly. I was only jesting. Of course, I know that is a ridiculous thing.
But Nim, and she pounds on the door again.
Maybe my companion here might be able to help you out. She's rather handy with sticky locks.
I'm a locksmith.
Hang on. She looks at you and kind of like raises an eye ridge.
Fold.
Yeah. And is that so?
Mm-hmm.
And then she takes one step kind of to the side. Be my guest.
So a little awkwardly and sheepishly, and is going to look and kind of get down to one knee and take out her tools and try to open up the lock.
All right. Dwight.
I'm going to use my point of inspiration for that.
Yeah, go for it. Go for it. I want you guys to use up all of your inspiration so it's that much easier to kill you.
But there are 11 domain dice, too.
Oh, yeah, there is that.
So how Thieves' Tools work is that you just roll and then add your proficiency? Is that right?
If memory serves me correctly, I believe so.
Yes.
Excellent.
So I think it's, dexterity plus proficiency.
Correct.
Oh, dex plus proficiency.
Yarp.
Oh boy. Okay.
Oh boy.
So that's 26.
Yeah, and you like as you're kind of as you're picking the lock, you realize like whoever made this lock, this isn't a standard lock that you're used to. Many locks usually have their own standard pattern of tumblers, but you're fine. So you're kind of admiring the steps that this locksmith or whoever did it used to kind of open the lock. But as you use your picks, it doesn't take long for you to kind of snap a tumbler here and kind of move it over there and pop and just and the door opens. Nim kind of is backing up and kind of crouches like right down to where its arms are kind of hugging its knees, and it's looking up at the four of you.
See, I told you she's rather talented in this respect.
Valletta kind of, as you're all walking in, Valletta actually kind of pushes past you and kind of like moves all of you off to one side, and her hands are on her hips and she's looking like kind of upset. Why would you attack? And you can hear her starting to argue, and Nim is seems to be signing back. It can't speak, but it does do sign language. And I am not going to try to role play that, as I don't know sign language, and I don't want to offend. So it does sign back. It does sign back that it apologized, and it signs to you, and kind of Valletta is kind of standing behind Nim as it kind of moves towards you, and as it begins to sign, Valletta is translating. So, no, apologize, and I am sorry. I was testing something. I like making things, and I like making things like me, because I am lonely here. Good bottom lip there. You can try and hide it, but that's not going to work.
But you cannot just go around throwing mechanical birds at people that you don't know.
It was supposed to come back to me, but it didn't work. I will hopefully try again. And Valletta like behind is like, you will not. I will not.
Are there more like you, Nim, or are you the only one?
And I was alone. Then I wanted to make another, but it was scared. I tried to talk to it, but it didn't understand. It ran away.
Valletta, did you know he made more?
I did not. A moment. And she goes up and kind of grabs this holy symbol, which actually looks to be just like a gear. And as she holds onto it, you see it kind of glow, and it looks to be like a small hidden mechanism that kind of spins the gear one way and then another way. I have contacted others in my order. They will come up and begin to clear Nim's things, so that it will learn not to disobey.
Well, I have a feeling that the one that got away may have been over where we are. There was a sighting of a creature, similar description to Nim, upon the rooftops this morning. And
sorry.
And may possibly be involved in some rather destructive activity. How long has it been gone?
Valletta just turns in and kind of glares at Nim. Nim signs, It fled months ago. I tried to keep it here, but it was terrified. So it ran away. And now I am only one.
How much like you did you try to make it, dear?
Well, in appearance different, but I wanted to make it like me so we can talk and work on inventions together. And you can see now, like, even in the room, there are like half-finished inventions, half-finished machines and strange-looking devices. And at this point, you can hear the acolytes. They begin to come up the stairs with wooden crates, and they begin to kind of grab things off. As they're kind of like pulling things off and going through, you can see now like they're kind of carrying stuff. Would you like to like search through it? Is there anything you want to ask Nim? Anything more, or Valletta?
Did you give it any special extra abilities by any chance, Nim?
No. Only to talk and to help make things.
If this thing ran away months ago, it could have fallen into anybody's hands.
If it falls into the very wrong hands, it means it's becomes something of a weapon.
I can assure you that nothing that we have here would be considered a weapon. However, and it kind of looks, or she kind of looks at Nim and kind of like with, and she's kind of getting you to kind of like, let's go. Nim, you stay here and we will talk more later. And she begins to kind of like push you guys out of the room as the acolytes begin to take things.
As they're taking some of this stuff out, I do want to attempt to just see if anything stands out in all the stuff that they're taking out of the room before we get ushered out of there.
Sure. Make me a perception check.
Ooh, that is going to be a natural 1. I have no idea what this stuff is.
You have no idea what it is, but just as a perception check, yeah, you see a bunch of weird looking things. It's all kinds of weird. As a matter of fact, you see one thing that really stands out that's really, really kind of odd. It's like a 1 foot long copper contraption that has all these different like dials and switches and strange looking things, and it has a little umbrella on top. Actually a red and gray umbrella that just kind of like sits hanging off of all of these other different looking weird objects.
I can't make anything of this stuff. So I will continue to follow out of the room.
Sure.
Before Anna leaves, she's gonna turn to Nim, reach into her bag and take out the bird head. She's gonna give it to Nim. Sorry about your bird. Hopefully you can do something with this.
Yeah, and it holds out its hand very, very gently, and it kind of cradles it, and like it kind of moves its hands and kind of like like puts its head to one side and then kind of gently like kind of pats the mechanical bird's head. It kind of holds it and it can't smile as it has just a very like kind of like a mask like face, but you can kind of feel like there's so much emotion coming out of this automaton, which is completely and utterly unlike anything, completely unlike anything that you would normally see from an automaton. As you are turning to leave, it kind of jerks, and you can see it moving like really, really quickly, and it grabs that weird umbrella-shaped doodad thingamawhopper and hands it and kind of taps Valletta, and it makes a sign. It's what? And you can see it kind of like holds what looks to be like a bicycle brake. You know what I mean? It holds it, and you can see the little umbrella beginning to whir, and then like kind of an articulated arm begins to point right at Nim, and it begins to spin wildly, and it's frantically signing. And Valletta said, "Oh, this seems to be a Nimblewright detector. He wants you to have it." And he points right at you, or she points right at you, Anna. And it kind of, Nim kind of very slowly and kind of places very, very gently into your hands. And it kind of turns around, like its whole torso turns around like 180 degrees. But as it is, it's still petting that little like kind of copper bird's head as it goes back, and then kind of crouches really, really low in the corner.
And I would just take it and just nod and where are you moving Nim's stuff?
And now you're having this conversation as you're walking down the staircase. Valletta says, Nim's things will be scrutinized, looked at. If anything is of some kind of danger, it shall be properly disposed of. Nim will not be harmed, if that is what you are worried about.
Will he still be allowed to create things?
In time, but it has to learn that it cannot allow its ambition and thirst for knowledge to get away from the safety of people. Nim is a very special case. We found it from a Lantanese wizard. We still don't understand it and understand its mechanics, but we dare not take it apart. So we ask it questions, and it can answer as best it can. Now that we're away from Nim, this Nimblewright needs to be destroyed. Clearly, it has no qualms over killing people. I have heard what had happened in Trollskull Alley. Rumors here travel faster than most sermons. If you destroy it, we'll offer you 500 gold pieces, especially if you can do it quietly. Now, we unfortunately don't know where it is, but I assume that detector might help. Unfortunately, Waterdeep is a big city, so best of luck. Now, I assume that none of you will be converting today, so if you'll excuse me, I have more conversation with Nim to handle.
Valletta, before you go, is there something you want us to bring back to you regardless of how we had to destroy it, or just sort of do away with it and make sure no one sees?
You can just do away with it. I imagine it's probably made of brass or iron or some other sort of metal. We just need to get it rid of, if you could.
Understood. I hope your luck changes today. Terribly sorry to be the bearer of bad news for you, though.
Yes, I may have to hold my analytical mind for a moment and go and speak with Timora. And she smiles, but as Dragonborn smiles, they all look like sneers. And she turns and kind of goes back toward her toward Nim's apartment.
I almost feel bad for the little mite. But 500 to do away with its little creation, that's not a bad thing.
Well, if this one is throwing birds and other contraptions and it made it in its own image, then, and especially if it has been fallen into the wrong hands, it, well, who knows what else it could throw at us. Agree. It is something that we should eliminate. We should be careful.
Yes. Well, at least we have the little gadget to help. That might take some explaining to do if some people see us using it.
I will distract him. When we need to use it, I can cause a distraction and people will not notice, if necessary. I can be very distracting.
This is true.
We're gonna climb some buildings again.
If that's what it takes.
Just be careful who catches you doing that.
Well, I would be careful not to climb temples.
Probably wise.
I am not much of one for the gods or their houses, but I respect other people's right to believe these things.
And I don't think that prison is not a good look for you.
If you are insinuating that I would not look good in stripes, you are very wrong. I look good in everything.
I think it's more the case that you'd be far too pretty. Far too pretty, my dear. Perhaps if you two go and do some investigation as you slip out the door while I entertain the memorial attendees, take that gizmo with you. I wouldn't put it past that family to try and take on something like this for personal gain.
I had not considered that connection, but that is very wise counsel. Perhaps we should head back to the Nobody's Inn and see that all of the arrangements are being made for this evening.
Agreed. Best to get everything in order and make sure it's all ready to go.
All right.
Now, before we move too far away from the temple, it's gnawing at me. I have to ask. When you were describing in the temple, did you say that there was a sort of manta ray looking thing called the Scarlet Marpanoth?
Yes.
The Scarlet Marpanoth.
Yes.
Do you know what a Marpanoth is?
No.
Marpanoth is the 10th month in the Faerun calendar, which is also October. Scarlet is another name for red.
Okay, there we go. Yeah.
So you didn't even
The
you didn't
hamster
even notice
switching up
it. So
the
I was
cycle.
right.
Yep. There you go.
So they put a red October. Megan, you look lost.
Oh no.
The Hunt for
Oh,
Red
no.
October is a Tom Clancy novel and movie with the Jack Ryan character. That
Yeah,
one
it's like-
was
it's
Sean Connery and
the most Scottish Russian
Yes.
undersea captain.
Sean Connery playing a rogue
Yes,
Russian.
comrade. Yeah.
I
Let us enjoy some scotch. Blah.
And Megan's movie list increases.
I had recently been looking at the Faerunian calendar, and so when you said it, I was like, wait, did he just say what I think he said? And you just went by it.
Yep.
Yeah, they totally put a Red October. Okay, cool.
Well played, Wizards. Well played. You got me. Because, yeah.
I'm gonna ask someone if they did that on purpose.
Well,
that can't have been an accident because it's a manta ray.
Yeah, and I'm also curious if the Scarlet Marpenoth is has that been in earlier edition works or other modules?
Not that I'm aware of.
All right,
I'm not claiming an encyclopedic knowledge of Waterdeep lore, but
fair. Well then, whoever did that,
I'd look it up, but I don't want to run the risk of ruining anything. So so I'm not going to search for that specifically, but
I appreciate that. Anyway, so you're all heading back to
we're heading back to the inn.
Troll Skull. Okay. Or the Nobody's Inn, excuse me. And it doesn't take, it takes a little while to walk in that direction, as you are currently on Seawatch Street and Shark Street. So as you kind of make your way, it's actually kind of a straight line. And you can follow along the map if you want. You go past the Street of the Singing Dolphin. You go past Delzorn Street. And as you kind of get to Delzorn and Diamond, Kiara, go ahead and make me a wisdom saving throw.
Oh.
That's a beautiful 17.
So you feel for a moment, it's hard to describe. It's like someone is reaching a hand inside your mind. You can feel the hairs on the back of your neck raising, and it feels really uncomfortable. And it's at that moment when you notice coming up Delzorn Street, you see the black and gold carriage of the emblazoned with the Castellanter like crest. And as it pulls from Diamond Street going down, or excuse me, as it goes from Delzorn Street turning left onto Diamond Street and kind of back into the Castellanter Villa, the carriage stops. The kind of little door window kind of opens up, and you see Victoro Castellanter's face, and he is looking right at you. Kiara, it is good to see you again. It has been too long. Tell me, how have you been keeping yourself?
Oh, just fine. Taking on new business ventures and enjoying the adventure of it all.
You should come by sometime. Come. Visit. business has been good to us. Perhaps we could help each other out like old times.
Well, perhaps once things have calmed down a bit on my end, I might stop by and say hello to you and your family.
I hope so. It has been a long time. And I'm sure we would all love to see you again.
Perhaps.
And he just kind of goes back in, closes the window, and you hear just yeah, and he snap like the snap of the crop, and the horses begin to kind of thunder down Diamond Street to the villa. Oh, and you take 3 points of psychic damage. This lingering effect has you kind of disoriented. You weren't sure maybe if it's just like the cold and damp weather or what it is, but you just feel this kind of still this lingering pain, like again, like something could try to claw its way into your mind.
You appear to have some interesting connections.
That's one way to put it. Though I had hoped that certain connections weren't as interested anymore.
An old flame, perhaps?
That's putting it mildly.
Ooh. I turn to Anna. It appears Kiara has a bit of a storied past, too.
Oh, 6, you have no idea.
Oh, I've got
And I'm
some
just gonna
ideas.
walk in front of
I've
them.
got some ideas.
That just goes to show you never trust nobles. Ever.
All right, so I guess we're continuing our way.
Sorry, I was doing that thing where I was privately messaging someone. So there, and a bit shaken up, at least one of you. The rest of you continue walking down Delzoran Street until you finally get to Saradoon Street and then back into Troll Skull Alley. While people do seem a little bit cautious, they're walking around a bit more. People still seem a little bit kind of unnerved. You see the tavern door already open and people kind of coming in and out. Your staff members are busy at work, kind of tending to people. And although like some people, you hear a little bit of laughing, but it's kind of like to kind of break up the silence. People are very, people just seem very kind of, I guess, I don't know. I'm guessing like the best way to describe it is kind of, they just need something to do. They need something to kind of occupy their time, occupy their minds from what has happened. So you guys are going into the tavern?
Oh, into the tavern, to the bar, and pouring myself a shot.
All right. And then leaving the shot and then grabbing the bottle. So as you walk in, wow, you know what? I'm terrible because even I was about to say the name wrong. Nope, not that one. I have like so many. By the way, while I'm trying to be cool and do this, everybody, if you have ever needed a good system to kind of keep a campaign in order, especially if you're playing online, check out Trello. It is a free online system that helps you organize everything when it comes to your campaign notes and whatnot. So just
hashtag not a sponsor.
Yes. Yeah, big, massive, super hashtag #, not a sponsor or anything.
Not
like
a monster.
I am a monster. Because yeah. But anyway, I can't. You know what? I can't find. I want to say it's Vera. Your.
I was just saying, I have it written down, but
Vela. We have Fala and Vela.
Vela Hellman.
That's it. Vila. Yeah, Vila. Yeah.
Vila.
Okay. That's my bad. So anyway, so Vila. Yeah, I don't even know where it would be, but Vila comes in, kind of sees the three of you, kind of looking haggard, and just lines up some ales and looking at you, Kiara. She basically takes a kind of like a half pint kind of mug and just like fills it with whiskey and just kind of hands it to you.
Thank you, my dear.
And she bows.
How's everything else been going?
Well, I mean, it's not exactly a tavern right now. It's more of a wake, but folk are what folk are doing. Hendrik's just in the back. He's making I don't know what he's making, to be honest. It smells good, and you just get this like smell of like slow cooking pork mixed with like chestnuts and like a bit of like almost like apple smell to it. And if anyone was to walk back there, you'd see him like grabbing a whole roast suckling pig and slowly roasting it. And he's taking like this, what looks to be like a painter's brush. And he's like, this is a trick I picked up back in the Dales. And he takes this paint brush, and it looks to be like a paste. It's a chestnut paste with a little bit of anise seed and what else is the other thing? You know what? It's really good. And so he's just spreading it over, and you can see the slow, like the skin just starting to crackle, and even with the apple in its mouth, and and Henry even looks and says, "I'm very proud to say that apple filled with hazelnuts give it that extra little bit of flavor. Anyway, now go. I still have to make mustard, so shoo," and kind of shoos you out of the kitchen.
I would like to do a thing that is contrary to what you have seen from 6 so far. As a storyteller, I like to think that 6 also has the ability to sort of lay the groundwork to move within a small group of people and just kind of move throughout the room and get people talking about sharing memories and reminiscing, telling fun stories, and just kind of talk to a group of 2 or 3 people, drop a few words, and just sort of kind of persuade them to begin talking and reminiscing, and then just quietly slip away. Rather, it's the complete opposite of where you've seen 6 be the center of attention. In this time, I'm using my abilities to help people to take their mind off of things.
Okay. Yeah, I like that. I like that a lot. Go ahead and make me a persuasion check with advantage.
All right, I haven't rolled this one yet. And this one. All right. I have a +5 to persuasion.
Don't bugger this up.
That's a 2 and a 16, so that's a 21.
Nice. And 10, 15, 20 minutes goes by. Kiara and Anna are, as you're sitting at the table, Kiara, you drinking your mug of whiskey because you're a badass like that.
Mug
and
of
Anna,
whiskey.
Yeah. What? Who hasn't? Right? Huh? You
don't got to tell me.
And Anna, you drinking. What would Anna be drinking?
Tears.
Actually, Anna would not be drinking at this. She is kind of fidgeting around. You can see she is looking very fidgety.
Yeah, and
she's like checking her things, all her hidden pockets, and occasionally, Kiara, you would see like a flash of a dagger come out, but then get hidden right away as she's kind of going over seemingly her mind like over and over again.
You look how I feel.
I'm guessing you and that bloke didn't have leave on the best of terms.
Not so much the bloke. But he's part of the reason why I did have to get out of Waterdeep when you and Bevyn helped me.
Well, if you want me to kill someone, just ask. I'm sure Bevyn and I can pull it off.
Darling, don't tempt me with such an offer because, quite frankly, that's not a family I'd want you going up against. At least not now. But thank you. Now, what about you? You getting ready for tonight?
Right, yeah. I haven't done this and it's been a while.
Before you go, make sure to say goodbye to me. I'll make sure you have a little extra something to help you out.
Right.
I think about this point is where I would kind of just, having made my rounds and hopefully the din in the room is kind of risen a bit as people are sharing stories and talking, that I would sidle up next to Kiara and
Miss not appearing in this film.
Kiara, jeez, I gotta look at the overlay. Kiara and Anna, jeez.
Wow.
As I
Cantriel hanging out.
Just not do you just
Kiara and Anna and just say, if ever there was a time that we should slip out the door, it would probably be now.
Well, at this point now, it's probably around 4 p.m.
But maybe not so early.
Probably not. Well, you can if you really wanted to.
I mean, actually, it probably wouldn't be a bad idea to case the place in the daylight, and then we can wait it out if we need to.
All right, well, if you two are going to get going, I'm going to pat Anne on the shoulder and give her blessing of the trickster, which will give you a little extra boost for about an hour, my dear, especially with the daylight working against you. Use that to your advantage.
Sounds good.
And she just nods and gets up. What does that do?
That is going to give you, of course, I just tucked the page back.
It gives you advantage on stealth or something like that?
Yeah, it gives you advantage on stealth checks, and it lasts an hour.
Which is crazy, because it takes like an hour to get there.
Yeah.
I'm kidding. I'm just
yeah, right.
Jerk. But with your blessing, and you all feel kind of confident. I think this is a very good place for us to stop, so we don't go too far. And Bevyn comes back, and it's like, I missed everything. No, sorry, I missed everything. Everything. What's going on? So, but I think this is a good place to stop here.
I like it. I felt like I feel like we did a lot. Like we learned a lot.
Yeah, that was good intel.
I think so.
Very cool.
Do you guys know where Growlhund Villa is? Sorry.
No, well,
your
I mean,
characters know where Growlhund Villa is?
Do we?
Anna might.
Well, I mean, if you remember, I guess that was a question I asked earlier.
I think see, now I'm saying Cantriel, and I play the damn piece. God damn it.
How do you spell that?
Yeah, actually, that's true. You I guess that is that. Yeah, you would probably have pointed
considering
that
the circle they traveled with.
I mean,
that's yeah.
I could just type it in and find it, but I didn't know.
You don't even have to. I can tell you right now. Well, actually, you can if you want. You're gonna laugh where it is, but
I'm gonna say, isn't it near us?
Yep.
It's around the corner, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, pretty much.
It's around the corner. So I think you'll be good with an hour's blessing or so for a 5-minute walk.
Yeah, probably. But hey everyone, thanks so much for joining us and our wacky antics or wantics.
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 Nice. That's
a thing now. But it's been absolutely incredible playing with these amazing folks. It is so great. This is my favorite part of Monday. Is this bit, except the work bit, no, but this bit is pretty cool. So if any of you want to go and follow Mini Terrain Domain for all of all the games that are played on this Twitch channel, you really should do that. And you should also subscribe to his YouTube channel, because there's a thing that's happening, and it's a big thing.
Let me tell you about that, because I've been teasing this for a while. I said for quite a while, I've said once we get over 9,000 subscribers on youtube.com/mini-terrain-domain, I would be announcing a prize giveaway. Well, two things have happened. One, we are, as of right now, at 9,049 subscribers. And I just got a package in the mail today. Amongst the things in the package are some prizes I'm going to actually show you. You're going to want to follow at MTD_Jake on Twitter to see how you can win one of 3 prize packs that includes a brand new in the shrink wrap D&D 5th edition starter set. Also included in that prize pack is an Icons of the Realms D&D 5th edition starter set miniature set that matches with the pre-gens. This bag contains 6 sets of polyhedral dice. That's 42 dice in 6 different color sets. And I'm giving away 3 of this package right here with the grand prize pack also including, and just so you can see I'm not fibbing, one of them's in plastic, the other items don't come in plastic. This is a core set of books, a player's handbook, a Dungeon Master's Guide, and a monster manual, and the Dungeon Master screen reincarnated shrink wrapped. All of these items will be up for grabs as we begin the drive towards 10,000 subscribers on Mini Terrain Domain YouTube channel. So please, if you're interested in these things, follow at MTD_. You know what? I'm just going to do this. I'm going to type !Jake in the chat. Follow me on Twitter, because very, very soon the contest details will be announced, and it will be a Gleam contest. So you'll be able to get extra entries by following all of the different things. There'll be a lot of options, and I'll have details about when that drawing is going to happen as we push towards 10,000 subscribers. And the hope is that you'll also subscribe and follow some of the other things like this Twitch channel and things like that. Because in addition to just giving away cool stuff like this, you get to see people like Mike and Megan and V Dwight, Ted, Jeremy, Scotty, myself, Marquise, Connor.
Ted.
I said Ted, didn't I? Ted. We'll say Ted again. Just a few of the people that appear on the channel regularly in different games as we just play D&D because we love it so much. And on the YouTube channel, there's lots of great crafting content, and live crafting is coming back. I just did a live stream recently, and we'll be doing another one soon with a new dice tower, Tomb of Annihilation themed. Blah. So, yes, that's my exciting news. Yeah, why don't you guys go ahead real quick. If you got something you want to promote, let's do that as a way of heading out of here. So, I guess Megan.
Hi, I'm Megan. I am one half of the YouTube channel Dice on Ice, where we put out new content every week, advice videos, tips, tricks, all to make your RPG experience a better one. And you can join Jake and I, along with some other players, tomorrow, where we are going to be, well, they are going to be delving further into the Death House in my Curse of Strahd campaign. So, yeah.
Yes, I love playing in the Curse of Strahd. I've run elements of it, and I'm playing Eli Lancaster. You're not so traditional dwarf. All right, V, what you got?
Hi everyone, I am V. I have the YouTube channel, The Crafting Muse, where I also show you how to make terrain, paint minis, make game accessories, all that fun stuff. You'll also find me here a lot on Jake's channel playing, well, obviously Kiara and the Cantriel that kept getting mentioned tonight, but that's Thursday nights. So come back Thursday night and watch us play some more because it's fun, because it's these two and a couple other great people. And then Thursday afternoons, you can find me over on Scradicus Academy. And just so happens that this week I'm going to be doing my first DM stream. So I'm going to be in the DM seat for this, and I'm super excited for it. So come over. It's 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time at Scradicus Academy. So it's www.twitch.tv/Scradicus.
Very cool.
Find me there.
Very, very cool. I also forgot to mention Wednesday night here on twitch.tv/mini-terrain-domain will be part 3 of the Dragon Grin, Dead Man's Guide to Dragon Grin Sphere playtest Blood and Vengeance, where we have Tim Carney and James Carney and Michael Barker, 3 of the 4 AbTab founders and creators and writers of the Dead Man's Guide to Dragon Grin, along with Connor, the other half of Dice on Ice. Drake will be joining back up again, and Baron as well. That's right, we are going to have 6 players in that short part 3 one shot, but we've been playtesting some of the different stat blocks, and we're going to actually be playtesting a boss battle with stats that Tim and Matt and them have been putting together specifically so that we can run them in this playtest. So that's going to be very cool. It still counts because we are still streaming. We just got raided from Castle Mac with a small raiding party. I like to think of it as focusing on the party part and not the raiding part. As we get to...
Are we going to do like a raid Inception again?
No, I was actually going to raid Scrat.
I was going to say, can't we carry them with us?
Yeah, if they're here, yes, you're right. If they're here, then they'll come along with us on the Scradicus raid. I gotta make sure I put this up right. It's just Scradicus, right? Mike, why don't you take us out with whatever you got going on?
I mean, no, I'm just kidding. Well, I'm Mike. I have the channel Mike the Piper. I'm also on Twitter and social stuff. Although I'm not too keen on Instagram. It's because I'm old, but that's fine. What do I got going on? Over at Marquise's channel, YouTube channel, which I think is...
Which one? Is it Marquise?
I don't know. Whatever his YouTube channel is.
It might be Point to Inspire, or it might be Marquise.
I think it's Point of Inspiration.
Oh yeah, Point of Inspiration.
And we'll be playing part 2 of our L5R mini campaign. L5R is a beautiful game, and the beauty in the subtle like Asian inspired role play is just so good. But it is, it's a wonderful game.
That's Legend of the Five Rings.
Yes, sorry, Legend of the Five Rings. It is a game based on it's completely like kind of it's like a what would you say, like Romance of the Three Kingdoms style fantasy Asian world, and it's just amazing. It uses the Fantasy Flight Games dice. It's amazing. It's such a good game. It is really, really great.
Isn't it a newly released edition?
Yes, it is. It's 5th edition. No, 5th? Yeah, I think it is 5th edition. So it's really, really good. It's a great game. And then that will be on the 15th. On the 16th of February, I'll be playing as an Imperial Guardsman in a Warhammer 40K inspired one-shot, where I'll last 3 minutes, and possibly, if I'm lucky, I'll survive to the initiative roll, which would be great. But hey, especially all those Warhammer Games Workshop fans, you would definitely know what I'm talking about on that one. And of course, on the 23rd of February, The Provokers. Right again. It is going to be session number 11. And I'm very excited, of course, to dive back into the wonderfully charming, oh God, I don't even know all the titles anymore. Captain Skull Splitter. I can't remember them all. Every time my character gets a new moniker from the fans. Lord of the Mop, I think, is one of them. I don't know. Like there's lots of stuff, but I can't wait to play my adorably charming fighter, Edric Meadows, Mr. Edric Meadows from Aldemir. I'm very excited to play him. But so that's me. That's it. I'll shut up now.
All right. Well, be sure to follow all of these lovely people to keep up to date with what they are doing and what is going on. And we will see you hopefully over on Dice on Ice tomorrow night, or back here on Wednesday and Thursday for the upcoming games. In the meantime, I'm going to take us out of here with the usual method. But as I do that, I'm going to trigger the raid as we show up at Straticus's channel. Just be sure to hit them with a method when we're in the chat to let them know that we are there. So now we are going to end this stream the same way we end every stream, and you can say it with me if you want. Method. And I gotta find the mute buttons.